Hey everyone, my name is Joey G, and I've been playing Apex now for the past 5 years. In around 2019, I was in that all too familiar spot where I just feel like there isn't any games that I want to be playing right now. I have this itch that needs scratching where I have to play an FPS at some point in that month. It's always been my bread and butter, my always go to, and I just felt like I was kind of done with Fortnite, and there really wasn't anything else out at that moment that piqued my interest. However, in February of that year, Apex Legends was released, and I instantly made that my go-to shooter. I've loved playing the game for most of its lifespan. The characters, the lore, the map designs, the core gameplay, everything, all of it. I always wanted more and more. I will admit though, I don't feel like I have had fun playing this game now for about a year. Very recently, Respawn and EA announced that they were changing up the battle pass under the guise of to improve your experience and progression goals. This doesn't actually improve anything for the players, and it was a change that was merely made to please shareholders and nothing more. After sitting with this idea that Apex is now seemingly entering the unsurprising phase of sell cosmetics, make money, maximize greed, I thought that I would just sit down and make this ramble type video and talk about my time with the game and what I had hoped would happen with it, as well as just some thoughts that I've had on the recent restructure of the Battle Pass moving into Season 22. As I just said, I started playing on day one. A close friend of mine messaged me a few hours after the game came out saying, "Yo, I've been playing this game. It just came out. I think that it's right up your alley. It's called Apex Legends." I jumped on the game. I think I think it was my first match. I felt like this was a breath of fresh air when it came out, and I felt like this was definitely going to be my new main first person shooter. A lot of my friends started playing and streaming the game, all saying they were having a really good time, and I was having a similar experience. If anyone here remembers the first, I feel like couple weeks to couple months of the game being out, you'll remember just how unbalanced things were. The wingman was crazy OP. It was easily the strongest weapon in the game, and there really wasn't any other reason to pick up any other gun unless it was a second wingman. It was really stupid. Characters like Pathfinder and Wraith were super strong and quickly became a lot of people's mains. I don't think during the early days I ever ran into team compositions that didn't have at least one of those two characters on them. I think objectively, looking back, it was a shoddy game on release. I can't lie, but there was something about it that kept bringing people back day after day. I, of course, was one of those people. I really couldn't get enough of Apex. It all boiled down to the gunplay and the movement. It felt like those two aspects of the game were correct. Like they were meant to be that way, and they were meant to complement each other in the way that they do. To this day, they still go hand in hand. As time went by, players like myself wanted several changes to be made to the game, some additions as well. Whilst I don't remember the early seasons with great detail, I do remember wanting to take a break shortly after season 3. It was around season 4 and 5 that I felt that the game had this stale phase. It felt very stale. The gunplay and the movement still felt very addictive and was easily the best part of the game. But as far as content and map changes and the state of the game just didn't really appeal to me. There were so many bugs, imbalances, and other problems that were stacking quite high, and it would take weeks until any of the patches were implemented to improve the game on those fronts. It's been 5 years now since Apex was released, and some of the bugs that have been problems for all players back before Season 1 are still present in the game today. One of the main problems I have with the game that is a problem that affects every player of all skill levels, the lack of audio. Every player on every input on every platform has a list of experiences where they were looting, rotating, or fighting, and they get one clipped by someone who is right behind them. We all get knocked, where we spin around and then just ask the simple question of where is the audio? Like, where is it? How is a 3-ton robot with a grappling hook able to just run up right behind me without me ever hearing him? As I said, this has been a problem since the game was released. It was there day one. Through the years, the problem has gotten worse and worse with the additions of more and more sound being streamed into the single audio channel of the game. Players will hear voice lines, gunshots, healing, map ambience, music, reloading, and every sound your team will make, or you will more than likely never, ever hear the footsteps of I love aim assist TTV live on TikTok as he runs right up behind you and stuffs his flatline right up your fuck. I apologize. Whilst Respawn have communicated, I believe, once on the issue to players that it remains a top priority to fix, they really haven't made any progress toward achieving this goal. I think I could easily look over a couple of issues that I have with the game if I could simply hear that full team of 3 stacked preds who hold hands in pubs run up right behind me as I'm hearing nothing but my own footsteps and the quick snappy quips of my teammates' characters. Another problem that is currently affecting all players across all platforms, regardless of input or skill, are the cheaters. If you've played Apex as of late, you'll notice that a level 15 default skin Lifeline just one-clipped you and both of your teammates with relative ease. Clearly, you just encountered the next big superstar of the game, right? Like a player that will go on to rival the CEO himself in skill. As someone who considers themselves good-ish at the game, whenever I run into a player that is better than I like to stay in the lobby and spectate them for their next fight. I love watching people who are better than me. It provides insight into how I can improve and maybe one day be as good as them. But upon entering their next fight, you see that they hip fire, land all headshots from 100 meters away, and wipe the 2 squads that were fighting each other. And of course, you see that they're cheating. Obviously. The game is currently littered with these fresh account pub stompers who go around mindlessly cheating and ruining the game both in pubs and in ranked, especially in ranked. Not so long back, there was an ALGS that took place where 2 players were hacked live mid-game, Manday and Imperial Hal. The hacker gave both players blatant cheats and they had to stop playing mid-tournament because their clients were compromised. Soon after this event, Respawn announced that they were making some improvements to the game in the security area, maybe the anti-cheat of the game, just making it more secure. And I don't know about any of you, but I feel like since then, I've seen nothing but an increase of cheaters. Now, I'm not a big streamer or big content creator. I can jump on and have a bad time like everyone else. But it's the big streamers, the pro players specifically, who are streaming. They are the targets of stream sniping during their ranked sessions. Now, the snipers, they, of course, are just blatantly hard cheating, and they go into those games to kill the pros and remove them from the game as early as they can, causing them to lose the maximum amount of RP, effectively griefing their game and demoting them in the spots that they are currently holding in Pred and Masters. The problem is so bad that his Watson has stated that he will no longer play the game, on stream at least, until the issue is resolved, which is just crazy to me. People whose literal job it is to stream and play the game at the highest level literally can't do so because the cheaters are plaguing the game, stopping them from making any content or any progression. Those affected, to my knowledge, like his Watson, have reached out to devs at Respawn, only to be met with either radio silence or the quick, "we'll look into it" DM. It seems unlikely that at any point in time, there will be no cheaters in gaming, and I accept that. I reject, however, the idea that a game that has generated $1 billion a year for the past several years will not put any of that money into upgrading the anti-cheat, the engine, or really just any part of the game that desperately needs it. However, in recent times, you might have noticed that there's been an emphasis and an overhaul to the in-game store, as well as multiple cosmetic events and changes to the ways that you can spend money in the game. They even added a new currency to the game, exotic shards, which to my knowledge, in the little time that I've been playing recently, are used to purchase reactive weapon skins, which were only earnable if you had purchased that season's battle pass and progressed to the later stages, end stages really, of that battle pass. That is just one of those plain as day examples that EA want to make as much money off of this game as they can right now. They're taking parts of the game that didn't really have any customization options and are giving players options and avenues to be able to grab cosmetics for those parts of the game. I'm talking about stickers and universal heirlooms and deathbox cosmetics. Now, they're making a lot of money, obviously, like $1 billion, right? It's an unfathomable amount of money. But many issues and problems, even on the fundamental level, persist season after season after season. Both Respawn and EA have made it very clear now that they either have not found solutions to the problems that the game is currently facing, or perhaps they never even started work to solve it, and instead they shifted their focus and attention to selling more skins. My own personal desires for the game ranged from things like the heirlooms being earnable instead of purchasable. Like a weapon progression system, character progression system that rewarded players with unique items and cosmetics rather than making you pay for them. It would just be this statement to any other player in the game that you grinded to earn these unique items that just show how much time and effort you have put into being as good as you are. And game modes that made old players return to the game, like Three Strikes, and have made players like me remind me of why I started playing the game in the first place, were added in only to be removed and brought back at a later point in time when people had kind of got the idea and this impression that this game mode will not return for a long time, if not ever. I always thought early on that they would add new game modes to the game, similar to how they added Mixtape, but more so core FPS modes like Capture the Flag, King of the Hill, and even some of the more Apex themed modes. Goofy and fun modes like Trident racing with power-ups similar to, Mario Kart or hide and seek all seemed like they weren't really far away or far-fetched from being implemented into the game. Party modes, where your abilities get randomly cycled through the game, for example. Just silly little modes like that would serve so well as LTMs that lasted maybe only a week or two. All of these things that I genuinely thought Respawn and EA would do and implement into the game because that just kind of made the most sense. They just didn't. And instead, they even deviated away from that path. I loved Apex. I have several thousand hours in the game across Origin and Steam. I'm currently the #1 Octane in my country on PC. Yeah, that's how much I loved this game. That's how much I've played this game. Apex is and has been in a very bad state for quite some time now. And it's just very sad and demotivating to see that something that was made with passion and love was turned into a cash cow that will eventually be milked dry and tossed aside. I've met a lot of great people through this game. I've come across some crazy good streamers and entertainers that primarily play and produce Apex content. But unless there are upgrades made, bugs fixed, anti-cheat updates, really just any true improvements made to the base game, I don't think I will be playing it any longer. I don't look forward to seeing a game have so much unfulfilled potential go to waste. I think it's a massive shame. This is kind of all over the place and a bit of a ramble. I didn't really structure this. I just wanted to kind of just say that as somebody who's been playing for a very long time, who is very passionate about Apex Legends, not just from that objective side of the video game and its mechanics, but the characters and the lore, the design, the world, that universe. I just can't see now, after recent announcements, how the game is actually going to improve and how it will get any better for any of us. I hope you enjoyed my ramblings and this video. If you have any thoughts of your own, I'd love to read about them. If you leave a comment down below, I'll definitely check that out. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're all currently enjoying the other games that you're playing. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.